What is up, guys? It's your boy, Wrong Cactus, and today, or I should say a few days ago, I made a video on the Flame Harvesting artifact mod added to Destiny 2 within Season of the Haunted, and I said this was my favorite seasonal mod. I think it's the best one you can be using right now for PvE. And guys, if you haven't seen that video, I would highly recommend going and checking it out, even if you don't think it's the best one. It is incredibly powerful, the easiest way to make elemental wells spawn, and it just snowballs so quickly with any sort of well build. But a lot of people replied saying, hold on a second, Ricky boy, what the heck are you talking about? Flame harvesting is good, but Classy Restoration is the best seasonal artifact mod. Even Paul Tassi said that, and I mean, he almost beat a Grandmaster last season, so he knows what he's talking about. I'm playing. I did get a lot of responses saying that, however, so I was thinking, maybe I'm wrong. Just to be clear, I've been wrong in the past, and I'm sure I'm going to be wrong in the future. Obviously, when I bring you guys videos on what I think are the best things, it's my personal opinion. It's not going to vibe with everyone's, style of gameplay out there, so you may not think something is as good as me and vice versa. But I wanted to take another look at Classy Restoration and change my builds around a bit to value that mod more to see if I really was wrong and I did undervalue this mod originally. Now, of course, I'm a PvE guy. If you're coming at this from a PvP perspective, obviously Classy Restoration wins because you can't even produce elemental wells in the Crucible. But I mean, what isn't broken in the Crucible? Like, I stay well away from those playlists. So, Classy Restoration says activating your solar class abilities grant you restoration. And restoration is just the new term brought into the game with Solar 3.0 that refers to a continuous healing effect. Now, right off the bat, one of the reasons I haven't been running this mod too much is that I've already been running a lot of stuff that gains me restoration healing off of my class abilities. So I've been playing a ton of Titan ever since Resilience is now goated with the sauce in PvE. If you haven't seen my video on that, oh my goodness, watch it. If you are not running high resilience in PvE, you are literally playing the game on hard mode. It is a huge difference. But if I'm running 100 resilience on my Titan, obviously I'm getting my class ability back incredibly fast. And why not take advantage of that by putting on the Loreley Splendor Helm? This is one of the most popular exotics being used in the entire game right now because it is so good with Solar 3.0. Whenever you cast your class ability, or if you're critically wounded and you have a full class ability, it'll use that up and it will spawn a sunspot. And when in this sunspot, you're going to get restoration ×2 and nearby enemies are going to have scorch applied to them. Now, if you take off the Loreley Splendor and put on Classy Restoration, you still get restoration ×2 whenever you cast your barricade. And if you combine both of them, it doesn't really seem like it stacks too much. I still only see restoration ×2, so a little bit of a non-bow there. So you could really take this argument either way. You could say, why would I use Classy Restoration? I could just use the Loreley and do the same thing. Or you could say, just use Classy, and then you could use a different exotic. And frankly, that comes down to personal preference. Now, when it comes to Warlock, it's kind of the same story. If I'm running Solar, I'm not only running a healing rift just all the time, I love healing rifts, but I'm also going to be running Well of Radiance. So there's two different ways to heal myself in an emergency. However, unlike the Loreley Titan, with the Warlock, you can actually stack Healing Rift and Classy Restoration. As you can see, you get significantly more healing when you do so. Not only that, obviously, you can just use Empowering Rift, and then as you can see, you get the restoration ×2 from Classy Restoration, and also get a damage boost. That's pretty darn good. Or even Phoenix Dive. You can transform that into healing you a little bit to now being a really good source of healing. Make no mistake, Classy Restoration giving you that ×2 restoration, that is a lot. And something like Well of Life, that is a fantastic mod, and frankly, if you're doing anything with solar mods, you should probably just be running it, but that's only going to give you restoration ×1. Even still, restoration ×1 constantly from Well of Life is a good bit of healing. Like, you're going to find it improves your survivability substantially. And just like classy restoration, you're going to find that the restoration Well of Life provides does seem to stack with a healing rift. So it's kind of the same argument. You could say, well, you can run Empowered and Phoenix Dive and do all this other stuff if you run classy restoration, or you could argue that I'm already healing myself with a healing rift, why do I need classy restoration? Again, there's no wrong answers, it's really just up to you and your playstyle. Where classy restoration, though, is unarguably incredible is on hunters. Because they don't really have easy access to a restoration style ability. Heck, when I was running Hunter and using glaives with it to farm the crap out of Nightmare Containment, I was actually just running a healing grenade. Now, you could absolutely do that, and again, that's your healing instead of classy restoration, but that is a bit of a stretch. Being able to put on the fastest recharging class abilities basically in the game with your 2 dodges, and then make them give you that restoration ×2 for a considerable amount of time. It's something like, 10 seconds with the fragment that extends the duration of restoration effects. Like, you are basically getting your class ability back before restoration ends from using the previous one. So that is incredibly, incredibly powerful. And it's not like solar hunters are bad right now. Currently, Blade Barrage, when combined with Star Eater Scales, as well as the knock 'em down aspect, is going to do a huge amount of damage. So if you want to run that, it's pretty easy to just slot in one classy restoration, and that's it. You don't really need a lot of stuff to activate classy restoration. That is definitely a key factor in why I think a lot of people think it is the best, currently available artifact mod, is because you just put it on, and as long as you're playing solar, that's the only requirement. It doesn't need anything else to activate. Whereas something like Flame Harvester by itself is nowhere near as good as classy restoration. However, I do also think the ceiling of Flame Harvester is higher. It can provide nearly 100% uptime with the Well of Life mod because you're just collecting so many solar elemental wells. Not only that, but it's also providing a damage output increase. Slot on a Font of Might, and then you have essentially 100% uptime on 25% more damage with solar weaponry. And you can stack that even higher with stuff like High Energy Fire or Argent Ordnance. You can go in so many different directions, but you do have to have a lot of mods to make that work. Your entire build, essentially every single piece of armor, does have to have an elemental well mod, or potentially Charge with Light if you go the elemental charge route, to take advantage of all of the wells produced by Flame Harvester. So again, the upside, if you go that route, is greater. You are going to be a more powerful character with a more powerful build, speccing hard into Flame Harvester for PvE. But that may not be what you want to do. And if you don't want to run any elemental well mods, or you don't want to use a solar exotic, or heck, a solar weapon in general, then 100% classy restoration is the play. Because in a vacuum, just mod compared to mod with nothing else equipped, classy restoration is actually admittedly superior. And so guys, am I wrong? Yes. Are you also wrong? Yes, because honestly, I think the truth is neither of these mods are better than one another. I think they're both tied for the most powerful things you can be doing this season. There are definitely other good artifact mods, and I do plan on doing some videos and builds around them, but I think just nothing holds a candle to either A, instant and incredible health regeneration whenever you use a class ability, or B, the best darn elemental well enabler I've ever seen in this game. So both of them are insane. Really, it's up to you. Do you want that extra survivability? Do you want that extra power ceiling? Go whatever direction you want. Guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.